Good morning. It's 8:39, which is 8:30-ish in our world. And you have tuned into what we call Sports Talk 916. I'm Coach Greg. That's Greg Bowl over there. And together we're the two-headed monsters of Greg that we call Sports Talk 916. We're on episode number 307, and we're loving the Tampa Bay Rays right now. I am a Tampa Bay Ray fan. How about you? How's your week?
Good. No real complaints. Just busy as usual.
Same different week, huh?
Yeah, I had a little medical procedure done on Monday. Recovering nicely from that. And just going through life like you're supposed to. So
right.
Good morning and goodbye. See you later, Oscar.
Oscar, you're not going to be a big fan of today's show, I don't think.
No, I mean, we're going to talk World Series, obviously. We're going to talk about last night's game. Crazy finish. I mean, honestly, this whole series is insane. And Oscar, I don't blame you, man. That was a heartbreaker for sure.
Yeah.
And it goes to show that Oscar is the smartest Dodger fan on the planet because, he has been saying it for weeks that Jensen needs to go and he should not be the one in there closing games. And it showed. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the World Series. We're going to talk about that ending. We're going to talk about Game 6 with Kershaw on the bump. Then we're going to do a little NFL talk. We can talk a little NBA as well. There's a lot of fan generated rumors that I think would be fun to discuss around the Sacramento Kings as far as different trades and different ideas going. But I feel like that would just be, pure speculation, and that's not always that fun. The NFL trade deadline is fast approaching. There are a lot of rumors swirling there, a lot of ideas there that we could talk about. I feel that there's a big change that needs to happen in the NFL, and it needs to happen yesterday. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into the Raiders, the Niners, and we'll make our picks.
And before we get started, I got to do this for Oscar just to cheer his day up. Oscar, today is Chucky the Notorious Killer Doll Day. So I think that's
I love
karma.
Chucky.
That's karma for your Raiders today. I think it's Chucky Day. It's also National Greasy Food Day. So there you go.
I love greasy food as well.
I do too.
So like I said, let's jump into the World Series. This game was insane last night. Back and forth game, just nonstop action. Of course, the Dodgers hit home runs. That's all the Dodgers fucking do is hit home runs and make everyone just ridiculous. It was crazy. Bellinger and Turner. No, not Turner. Turner, their first baseman, right?
Yeah,
were the first players in World Series history to have more than 4 hits and a home run in the same game. I've started to see a lot of Dodger fans starting to get rather upset about this World Series coming to an end, simply for the fact that they don't feel like Justin Turner will be back next year. They don't think the Dodgers are going to keep him. That he may be a casualty of the cap, which, hey, you know what? If the Dodger fans want to see him 15 times a year, San Francisco has a possible opening at first base if Brandon Belt could get the hell out of town. So I wouldn't mind that. But
no, I wouldn't either.
This Dodger team, man, they just show that they're stacked top to bottom, left to right. The problem is their bullpen just does not have it.
No.
And we talked about it a little bit last week. If Dave Roberts loses this World Series, he's gone. Or at least I feel like he's gone.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I think that was evident in the way he reacted to last night's loss. They showed the camera on him the second that ball got kicked around in right field, and it looked like a guy who just saw the pink slip come off the printer. He looked dejected.
But I also think he knows what his team's like, and what they've gone through in the past. And I think what he saw there was, shit, now we're going to have to go through this for 3 more days of, are they going to choke? What's going to happen? You got Kershaw pitching tomorrow. Is he going to choke? Is he going to be Clayton Kershaw, the regular season pitcher, or Clayton Kershaw, the postseason pitcher? What's going? So I think that's what I don't think he was worried about his job. I think he was worried about losing the World Series because now shit's going to open up.
He needs to be worried about his job because you can't. I don't think you could go to 6 division titles, or what is it, 8 world NL West titles in a row, go to 3 or 4 World Series and not bring home a ring. I think at some point they're going to look past player production. They're going to look at the manager and go, look, we've done everything we can about players. We have loaded you up with a roster of the fucking gods, essentially. We went out and got Mookie Betts. We locked up this guy. We brought in that guy. We did this. They've literally done every single thing you could ever ask a manager to do, or done for a team, to build a team like a manager would ask for, and they can't get it done. You can't overturn the whole roster again. It's going to have to be from within. And if you think about it, how did Dave Roberts get his job? He got his job after Don Mattingly couldn't get the job done. He got there, kept losing, and they brought him in to finish what Mattingly couldn't do. And he hasn't finished what Mattingly couldn't do. In fact, they probably could have saved a lot of money just having Mattingly continue to do what he was doing. Yeah, and not to mention they get David Price next year, so more money comes off the book. Like, something's got to give. That team, it's going to change. I think if they end up losing this World Series, which I sure as hell hope they do, that you're going to see Dave Roberts gone in LA. And my next statement is probably going to fall right in line with you. If Dave Roberts disappears, again, San Francisco could be a spot for the former Giant to come manage.
Anybody, well, don't get me started on him, but
I don't know if I'd say anybody, but
not anybody, but I would take Dave Roberts in a heartbeat over the shit that we have right now.
Manager of the year.
Yeah. Mark, happy birthday, Mark.
Yeah, let's go. Hopefully the Niners will get you a birthday win. I think they have a very good chance of doing so.
I do too.
We'll get to that though. But let's talk about the ending of the game last night. So Jensen comes in. You can tell right off the jump he's not crisp. Can't throw strikes. Can't throw. I mean, he got bailed out by a couple of really iffy calls by the umpires, which has basically been the norm in this series. The umpiring hasn't been the greatest calling balls and strikes.
Oh God, there was one. Did you see that one call?
Actually, yeah. I'll say let's back it up to that play at second base. Hard slide, pop up slide into second. I don't remember who the runner was, but basically it was it Bellinger on second, right? Was covering second, or it was Bellinger or Seager, one of the two, or their other fucking I don't know. Anyways, pop up slide slams into the into the second baseman, creates contact as he's falling down. The second baseman basically hugs him to try to not fall down, and the umpire calls him out. Now, baseball fan or Dodger fans are in an absolute uproar. They think it was the most terrible call of all of history of baseball, and they don't understand how it was an out, and they wanted the game to be under protest and all this other bullshit. Let's get your take on it before I give you mine. What was your take on that play?
I don't know. I don't think it was. I don't think it was that the contact wasn't intentional, and I think they were both just trying to keep from going down. So I think it was. I think I agree with the Dodger fan. I think it was a crappy call.
Nope. Sorry. If you go back and watch it in real time, watch it in slow motion, the narrative doesn't change. The second baseman with the new rules of baseball is obligated to his base to cover. You can't blow him up anymore. You can't slide through him. You can't take him out. There's that safety rule in place. So the pop-up slide, which is borderline questionable as far as the new rules of Major League Baseball goes, initiated the contact. The second baseman has the right to his bag. The runner slid into him, and as he was trying to come up, lost his balance and fell into, as he was there, was falling into the second baseman, which caused the second baseman then to fall over. At that point,
I'm going to watch it again here in a second.
The second baseman has the right to stand his ground. The guy was basically on top of him, falling down. Ball was still in the glove. Sorry, that's a legit play. I can mute you. We're good.
And myself, so go ahead.
No, so the way I see it is the runner initiated the contact, caused both players to fall down. Therefore, in the act of falling down, the ball stayed in the glove, and base runner lost contact with the bag. He's out.
Yeah,
it's not like he was standing there and the second baseman ran over and tripped and fell down on him and caused him to fall off the bag or pushed him off the bag. If that's the case, then that's the most terrible call in baseball. However, because the runner initiated and took the second baseman off the bag with him, legal play in my book. It was the right call. Runner's out.
Well,
and
he's out
you move
because
on from
his foot
it.
left the base. I mean,
well, yeah, but a lot of Dodger fans are saying he left the base because the Rays player pulled him off the bag. The problem is the Rays player pulled him off the bag because the runner was falling down on top of him.
Yeah.
And it was a seamless motion initiated by the base runner. That's the right call.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm glad that I can make it. I don't agree with the Dodger.
I was cooking dinner on that when that play happened, so I guess I didn't see as well as I thought I did.
Were you using your Traeger?
I was.
So I have a fun fact that I haven't told you and I haven't told any of our listeners. If you are interested in hearing about Traeger, the Traeger wood pellet fire grills, or getting one, Sports Talk 916 is officially a Traeger partner, and we have a store link that we can provide you. I don't believe there's not any type of discount or anything like that at this point, but we are an official partner of Traeger, and if you want to support Sports Talk 916 and get yourself a badass barbecue, message us, and I'll get you a link to our affiliate link. So there's that.
You're holding out on me. I like that.
I just totally forgot. So so we can officially start saying Sports Talk 916 episode today brought to you by Traeger Grills.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. So I think that was the right call. The ending now, me and you disagree on the ending.
Yeah, we do.
So I watched that ending this morning from about 7 o'clock to 7:45 on loop because I couldn't fall asleep. I wanted to watch it over and over and over again just to make sure that my stance was proper. And I truly feel that I'm still on the right side of this argument. But basically, as it went down, Phillips hit that screaming line drive to right field. The biggest dork in baseball as of right now is out in right field. Or actually, it wasn't the right fielder. It was a center fielder. Who was playing center last night? It was Taylor. Taylor cuts the ball off for Mookie Betts, which if it's Mookie Betts, that play changes 1,000% because you don't even attempt around third base on Betts. But Taylor having a noodle of an arm for a center fielder, which to me is amazing that he's even out there in center field. First of all, kicks the ball around, which allowed the tying run to score. And then Arozarena, who, by the way, is the most fucking badass fucking rookie baseball player I've ever seen. Rounded third, full head of steam. Like, that dude hauls ass. He's the third. Hold on. He is the third fastest base runner in baseball right now.
Really?
Dude is a fucking monster. Or it might have been in the postseason. One of the two, regardless of who's playing baseball at this moment. He's up there in the, we'll say top 5 for sure. As far as fast ass fucking people go. He rounds third with the head of steam. The ball was still in Taylor's hand after the bobble when he rounded third base. He tripped at about the 40-foot mark. He rolled another 10 feet before he was able to stand up and assess the situation. By then, Jensen was just getting the ball in his glove. So when he finished his barrel roll and his little pirouette, Jensen had just gotten the ball with his back to home plate. Jensen turns, in my opinion, panics because he sees Arizona just standing there. He didn't know what the hell was going on because literally he was in no man's land, and heaves a throw to home. Now, that ball ultimately got away. Arizona scores, and the game is over. Now, if you pull back and watch all the intangibles of this, if Jensen does what any infielder in the history of pickle has ever been taught, you run at the base runner. You don't throw the ball. You make him decide which way he's going to go, and then you throw. Jensen panicked, threw to home. Will Smith missed the ball completely. He gaffed on it because I think he was focused on the base runner as well. Runner scores.
Well, he tried to make a sweep tag before he
right.
had the
That's
ball.
what I'm saying. But he took his eyes off the ball. He hoped that his muscle memory would basically swoop it up, and the rest is history. But if you watch this, and I'm hoping that sports science gets a hold of this because they break shit down like crazy.
That would be good.
So maybe they'll listen to our show and be like, hey, we should do this. If he doesn't trip at the 40-foot marker, he gets to about 75, 80 feet before Jensen gets the ball. That puts him with about 15 feet or so before his slide to dive in and make an assessment of where he's going to approach home plate. Jensen took far too much time to catch, spin, and throw. It would have been a play at the plate, and I don't think there's any reasonable doubt that he's not safe under the tag simply for the fact that Jensen isn't quick enough in his transition, because his transition was what you're going to get out of his transition, because his back was to the play. He had no idea that Arizona was not running. So he turned and threw that ball as if he knew the runner was going to be at home plate, and it would have been late. You don't have that play happen. If he doesn't trip, he runs in and scores on a slide, in my mind, without even a tag.
I don't think he was down all that long. I'm watching it right now, and he's down. He comes right back up. He rolls
right, but all of that momentum that he had, you got to remember, going from a full bore sprint to standing up and starting to run again is probably double the amount of time it would take him to get down third base in a full sprint. He had no lead up time. If he doesn't stumble, he's at full speed. There is no way that he doesn't cover, because I just watched it again. He fell about halfway.
Right.
If not more.
Yeah, not quite halfway, yeah.
But he stumbled till about 3/4 of the way. So if he's not rolling on the ground for a quarter of that base path, and he's in that full sprint of his, he's at the plate by the time Jensen turns and makes that throw.
Yeah, see, I see it a little bit different. I mean, he definitely. So he stumbles at about a third of the way down the line. He gets up not quite halfway, and then it's another good 6 or 7 steps before he even starts a slide. Probably 4 steps before he starts a slide. I think. I mean, if we're going to play what if, I mean, if Jansen handles the ball and if the catcher catches the ball, he's out. He's out. If the Dodgers play that correctly, he's out no matter what.
So right there, let me go back and pause this. So
yeah, I couldn't really
Shut up. I don't need audio from you, Roberts. Where's the last play of the game? So can you see this on the screen?
Yeah.
So first of all, there's the first gaff. The boot
Right.
by
No,
Taylor,
that was
right?
stupid.
So right here, first of all, probably the best cutoff throw I've seen from Taylor all season. But if you look, Jensen there catches it, back turn. He does have an eye on the base runner now, but actually, let's even take this back even further. Will Smith, if he doesn't fall down, he would be about here, getting ready to start his slide. So I agree with you in the sense if Will Smith is where he belongs in front of home plate. If the base runner's coming down this path and he doesn't fall and he's at full speed, his slide, I don't know if you can even see the mouse moving around or not.
Yeah, a little bit.
His slide is going to take him all the way out here, right? He is going to slide and have a fingertip swipe of that bag. Will Smith, even if this throw from Jensen is perfect and he's in full speed, he is not in position to make a tag. There's no way he's covering the entire width of the batter's box plus the width of home plate to that back corner if a base runner's at full speed without a stumble and in a belly slide with just his fingertips crossing home plate. There's no chance in hell that he has enough area to cover to cover that. Because even if you look, and let's just say in the time that this play actually happens, the ball's in there, he's still not close enough. And if we don't change the throw puts him even further outside of so even that swipe tag, if he's in full speed, there's no way in hell he's making that full 360 swipe tag in order to make that play. If that base runner is in full speed,
well,
and in a belly slide,
the throw was horrible too. I mean, the throw was to the wrong side. So
the throw was to the wrong side, but I think part of that is because Will Smith was set up so far out there that I think that's where Jensen thought he was going to be for the throw. So he threw to where the body was. Because if you look, Jensen takes a little peek, sees where he's at to set for the throw. By the time he turns to fully throw that ball, Will Smith has slid probably a good 1.5 feet to the left to get closer in position. Jensen's like, oh, fuck, you're not there anymore, even though he threw the ball there. I think if the base runner doesn't fall down, it's a bang bang play and he's safe.
Hold on, sorry. There we go.
I just think it's one of those things where it's more if the execution was done properly by the base runner, doesn't fall down. Now, like I said, if execution-wise on the Dodgers side,
if it was done properly, he's out by a mile.
He's out by a mile. But if you only change the intangible that the base runner fell down, then he's safe by that same mile. If you make everything happen the way baseball should happen, he's toast. If the game goes to extra innings, it's tied. But yeah, and that was my argument. It was if he doesn't fall down, that dude's safe by a long shot.
Yeah. Again, if you're going to say he doesn't fall down, then you also have to say the throw has to be good.
And exactly. So, like, there's multiple scenarios there.
And I think the thing that you started this off with at the very beginning is if Mookie Betts is there, this play doesn't even think about happening.
If Mookie Betts is there, it's a tie game and the next batter's up. There's no doubt that it's time to move on. Like there's no chance in hell that there's even a play at the plate whatsoever because Betts has a cannon out there. He's gonna fucking take that to the house and it's not gonna make a difference. So either way,
he's gonna make a better throw from center field than Jansen did from halfway down the first base line.
Oh, if Betts throws that ball, it's not cut off. It's in Will Smith's hands and he's standing there watching the runner stand at third base going, okay, what's next?
Yeah. So I have a friend, one of my swimmers' dads is a big Dodger fan and played baseball in college, and he's pissed off about the pitch selection that they threw basically because the batter has been in a cold streak, barely hit 200, his shoulders flying out on every pitch, and he's they're pitching him inside. So I mean, they tried to stay outside the whole time, but that final pitch was inside. So as a Dodger fan, he's just pissed at Roberts or the pitching coach or whoever's calling the pitches because I just saw it. It was a 92-mile-an-hour pitch on the inside corner of the plate,
if you look, the catcher was set up on the outside corner.
Yeah.
And that was the story of the entire at bat. They kept showcasing that. Joe Buck kept pointing it out.
There's that one pitch. I think it might have been the first or second pitch of the at bat where he got crossed up so bad that the ball went across the middle of the plate.
Yeah,
and it was called a ball.
Yep. But yeah, so let's do this. We're gonna switch. Predictions. Kershaw, Game 6. Do you think we have Kershaw of game 1 back, or do you think it's gonna be another shit show game tonight?
I think it's gonna be a shit show game because I think the Rays are pumped. I think they're in. Well, I think they're in the Dodgers' head now. I mean, because everything they did, the Dodgers did everything that they could do to win that game last night, and the Rays just kept coming back, and then finally at the end did it. I think I
truly believe that if this were a Dodgers home game, the Dodgers win that game because every single time the Rays punched, the Dodgers had a counterpunch.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch it, you go back and watch it last night. What's his name? Fucking can't think of his name. The dude that hit Hunter Renfroe. Moonshot. 444 feet in the second deck of left field. Next inning, bam, Dodgers are back in the lead.
Yep.
Come up again, 3-run homer. Rays take the lead. 6th inning, Dodgers take the lead. It's like there was nothing the Rays could have done. And I think, like you said, the fact that there was finally a punch that they couldn't counter because there was just no more time left in the game. Hope as a Giants fan, I hope that gets into the psyche of the Dodgers because they could have. There's a lot of what ifs going on now. What if we had another at bat? What if we would have done this differently? What if this would have happened differently? And what ifs in the game of baseball will fucking destroy you.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's no days off. Like, they don't get a day to think about it, to talk about it. They have to work on getting it out of their head ASAP and moving on to the next one. And I think that's going to be a harder thing to do than normal simply for the fact that, this is such an odd setup for the World Series this year.
Yeah.
Real quick, Hunter Pence continues to be a Giants hero in San Francisco. He was at a bar last night in San Francisco watching the game. Dodgers lose. Hunter Pence buys shots for the entire bar. Everyone got limoncello shots. So he's not truly a hero because he's drinking limoncello.
Hey, I like limoncello. That's good stuff.
It's delicious. Don't get me wrong. It's delicious. But if you're going to be a man, if you're going to be the man, you're like, shots of Jack for everybody. It's, you know what I mean? Like, Jack and Cokes all around, not fucking, let's have a sex on the beach. Let's toughen it up, Pence. Come on.
So I read it. One of his tweets this morning that said the sound of all of the cheering from the streets must have meant the Dodgers won or Dodgers lost or something like that. And it was basically saying, it was sweet sound to hear all the cheering for the Rays.
I agree. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, real quick, before we move on to the NFL, we're going to do a little housekeeping here. So we've talked about it every week. I'm going to continue to talk about it because things continue to go great. Now, Fidelis, Patrick Smith, Fidelis Canine Training. They have been doing amazing things for the community of Rancho Cordova, for Sacramento. When it comes to dogs, when it comes to veterans, Patrick has an organization right now running that is doing fantastic. If you're a veteran and you need help, he has resources available to you. If you're looking for a dog, a companion dog, reach out. He has surrenders and donated dogs all the time that allow for him to give back to the veteran community. Now, He also works very closely with the law enforcement community. I mentioned it before that Bruno, one of his former dogs, is now a Sac Sheriff PD or a Sac Sheriff dog, one of their canines. He works closely with, he's actually currently training Officer Mark Stasik's dog, the officer that was killed in Rancho Cordova. His wife has since brought their family dog to Fidelis for training as well. And Patrick has actually caught some heat over the last week from someone that showed up at the facility for an evaluation and saw the community shirt backing the police officers and basically condemned Fidelis and Patrick as a racist organization because they support police. And in that sense, I have partnered with myself, partnering with Patrick and Fidelis and the Stasek organization for a new shirt that I'm running. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on the screen real quick here because I want to advertise it here as well. And for our listeners, we could do it a little bit differently. We could actually go ahead and do it with the Sports Talk 916 logo instead, or you could keep the Fidelis one. It's completely up to you. But the We Back the Blue with the logo there at the bottom, they're on sale for $25. $5 of each one of those shirts will go to the Mark Stasek Community Fund. This fund was set up to help cadets for Sacramento Sheriff go through academy with a scholarship. Right now, due to budget constraints, Sacramento County does not do a fully paid academy. Only a handful of cadets get paid for the academy. The rest do it on their own dime or at a no pay rate. So the Stasek facility and the foundation is helping cadets through a scholarship fund get through academy paid. So $5 of every shirt will go out. If you're interested in just the We Back the Blue or your company logo, anything else you want on there, our logo, Fidelis, whatever it is, reach out to us. We could definitely get that taken care of for you.
I'll take one with the Fidelis logo on it.
Perfect. I will definitely put you down for one of those. But on top of all that, when it still comes down to brass tacks, Patrick is the one to call if you need your dog trained. Whether you want it to be companion training, whether you want to just break a bad behavior, if you want to be able to take your dog everywhere, he's working with the Canine Good Citizen program through AKC in order to get dogs qualified for that as well. Reach out today, 916-337-0104, and get your dogs out there. It's a great investment in the pup, and you guys won't be regretting that at all. But yeah, it was just it
Are
blew
you
my
fucking
mind.
kidding me?
Nope.
God.
Yep, that's the community that we're in. So, anyways, let's talk about football. So, the NFL is week 7, week 8, week 9, week 50. I don't know at this point.
Week something.
Yeah, week 7. So, I don't know if I even really call it big news, but Antonio Brown pulled his best Kevin Durant this week, signed himself with the Tampa Bay Rays. He has 2 more weeks of his suspension. He'll be available by week 9. So that's going to be an interesting turn of events. I don't know if I'm the fuck team, the Buccaneers. I'm not quite sure that I take that feeler on Antonio Brown simply for the fact that their team is doing relatively well. They're starting to get healthy. The things, they're starting to come along. And I just feel like it's one of those like almost panic moves. Let's just make sure Seattle or someone else didn't get him. But I'm curious as to what the dynamic of that Tampa Bay team is going to be, because Tom Brady obviously is Tom Brady. You have a great running back system. You have Mike Evans, one of the best wide receivers in all of football. You have Gronk, who's starting to get healthy and starting to get his legs back under him, which is very helpful. But from a production standpoint, from a fantasy standpoint, from just an overall scheme standpoint, to me, it doesn't make a ton of sense why you bring in Antonio Brown, because in my estimation, all it's going to do is make Mike Evans unhappy. Because
or Chris Godwin.
No, let me finish my thought on this, and I'll let you. Gronk's starting to get the ball more. The running game's starting to get the ball more. Evans has been on a roller coaster. 8 targets, 2 targets, 10 targets, 2 targets. Like, he can't stay consistent. Chris Godwin came back last week, and Evans was throwing the ball twice. He was in single coverage 84% of the plays that he was in last week and got thrown the ball twice. You bring Antonio Brown into the system. Basically, what you're going to have is you're going to have Mike Evans on the left, Antonio Brown on the right, running fly routes. You're going to have Gronk and Godwin, and then Taylor or Miller, I'm sorry, their other little slot guy that he showcased in 1 week, covering all the middle. Because Antonio Brown's bitch ass isn't going across the middle anymore. He's not going to go out there and get lit up.
No.
But if you've ever watched Brady in the last 3 to 5 years, since Randy Moss left, Brady has lived in the middle of the field. He's not that deep ball, beat him downfield, take the top off the defense like he was with Randy Moss. So to me, while it's a cheap deal, I almost feel like it was a haha, we did it again moment. We took someone away from you. But it's how long is it going to be before Antonio Brown realizes Brady can't get the ball down 40 yards, 50 yards down the field anymore in the air? How long is it before Brown blows up? Do you really think he can keep his cool and just kind of be a sideshow act? I mean, he's always been a sideshow act, but be like just a distraction on the field while Brady continues to do what he does across the middle? Like, I don't know. I just think it's one of those gimmicky moves, like, haha, we signed another great player. Fournette came here, and this guy came here, and that guy came here, Like,
I mean, my first thought was the same thing that you thought was, let's sign him so nobody else does.
Right.
And I think the other thing is, I think what they're banking on is Tom Brady being able to spread the ball around enough to keep everybody happy. I mean, Gronk's going to be happy just by getting in and playing. I mean, I don't think he's worried about.
Gronk's happy to put a fucking helmet on his head.
I know. So, you don't have to worry about him getting the ball, and he's going to be his value is in the red zone, and that's going to be where he's going to show off his best. Brady hasn't had an arm to throw deep for years, so but he's Brady. And I think he's the one quarterback that Antonio Brown is intimidated by enough to keep his mouth shut.
Because it's not coaches that are keeping his mouth shut, because even Belichick couldn't keep him shut up.
No. So I think Brady can keep him shut. He can keep him happy enough to be productive. And if he's productive for 3 or 4 weeks and they win a couple of games because of him, and then he blows up and they cut him, okay, they won 2 or 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, and I think the coaching staff there is kind of a little on the, I think they're on the crazy side. I mean, I think they're not afraid of taking flyers. They're not afraid of trying wacky things. He kind of reminds me of who's the guy that was the coach at Washington State now at I know you don't know that.
I don't watch college football.
But he's kind of just that off the wall, let's just give it a try type of coach that I think Brown playing under is going to be all right. But with that being said, Brown's a nut job, and you can't predict what a nut job's going to do. So I think if they get 3 or 4 good weeks out of him, I think it'll be fine. If they get more than that, it's just a bonus.
So another
Mike Leach.
another wide receiver that's potentially back is it looks like Des Bryant is being signed to the practice squad of the Baltimore Ravens.
Mhm.
So there's another guy, and I bring these up because if there's one team right now that could use help at wide receiver, even if it's just a practice squad guy, it's the San Francisco 49ers. And the fact that John Lynch doesn't make any moves to sign anybody is really starting to frustrate me. Not that Des Bryant or Antonio Brown is the guy that I'm saying like we need to go out and get, but over the last 3 years, Shanahan's, oh well, we were close to him, we were real close to him, we almost signed him. It's like, fucking sign one of these guys, man. Sign AB for a year. It's $1 million deal, whatever it is. Incentive-based deal. If he shuts up and he plays and he scores 6 touchdowns, cool. If not, you cut him for a pack of cigarettes. It doesn't make a difference. But
I don't think Garoppolo is the kind of quarterback that's going to instill the confidence that Brown needs in his quarterback. I don't think you can get a game manager to keep Brown under control. It needs to be an Aaron Rodgers. It needs to be a Drew Brees. It needs to be a Tom Brady. It can't be a David Carr. It can't be a
Derek Carr.
It can't be a Garoppolo. It can't be somebody that is just a good game manager that fits within the system. It has to be a quarterback-driven team where the quarterback is nobody fucks with him.
I disagree with you in the sense of that because the game manager. I hate the term game manager, but if you're going to be realistic about your team, Garoppolo is quickly sliding down the path of game manager. I heard it on the radio maybe a week ago that he's just a sexier Alex Smith. He's a better looking Alex Smith is what he is. And I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, I'm okay with a pretty boy Alex Smith style player getting me to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I still don't feel that he lost us that Super Bowl. It was Shanahan getting away from what was working. But I think that if you give a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Derek Carr or a Alex Smith that weapon to expand on his ability to be that more than a game manager, I think you open the opportunity for him to progress. The Niners right now, while they have Kittle, they have Debo, they have Brandon Ayuk, they haven't developed themselves yet, mostly Debo and Ayuk, into that deep ball, let's bring it downfield type player. Debo's a little bit too small, although he's very much like Antonio Brown. He just doesn't have the speed he has. But I think Brandon Ayuk is eventually going to be that guy. But you can't tell Jimmy to let out his wings a little bit yet, just simply for the fact that there just wasn't time to build that up. I think, if we had a regular offseason and you had more time, I think Brandon Ayuk is tearing the top off the defense on a lot of different plays. But you just didn't have time. They couldn't work together. They couldn't work on that chemistry. A big rookie like that, that's amazing like that, you need a full offseason or longer to develop that chemistry with the quarterback, especially when a quarterback is not used to throwing that deep ball.
Right.
If Ayuk came into Atlanta or came into Green Bay with Rodgers or Ryan, who can throw that ball and has done so their entire career, then there's no problem. But that's like telling someone that's never done something to be like, all right, you're going to do this right away. It's like, fuck, I am. You got to give me time to learn how to do it. So I think it would have been a different story. I think Antonio Brown, not even so. I would rather see the Niners take a feeler on Des Bryant, especially if it's only taking a signing to the practice squad to see what he has left in the tank, like what Baltimore's doing, and then you bring him up if he still has it. If not, it's like $500,000 or whatever the hell a practice squad deal is. I don't see why you don't take that feeler on it, especially since the Niners could really benefit from a red zone threat, which is right in Jimmy's wheelhouse. Short passes, pristine passes, throw the ball up and let him go get it. But I don't know. We'll see. On top of that, and I wanted to kind of point out this because I thought it was kind of funny. in our fantasy league, the Pittsburgh Feelers is like desperation waiver wire mode galore.
Is that TJ?
No, that's Danny, who won the league last year. Fucking Antonio Brown's name pops up, bam, signed him. Des Bryant's name popped up, bam, signed him. It's like, good Lord. Like, you're filling your roster up with guys that aren't even on teams yet. You can't put them on IR. You can't do anything with them, but, it is what it is.
I have to admit, I took a look at Antonio Brown, but he's already gone.
Yeah, so we'll go through a quick little rumor mill here for a second. Jason La Canfora has reported that multiple sources in the NFL have indicated that the Niners are keeping their options open on the future of Jimmy Garoppolo with the team. They're not sold. It's a wait and see situation. According to multiple sources, he's still under evaluation. It could go in a different direction, and it's a possibility he's not the guy next year. That's fair. I don't think that's lost on anybody.
I think we talked about that a little bit last week with Matt Ryan.
We did, with Matt Ryan, but unfortunately, there's a lot of talks that fucking Kirk Cousins could still be in the mix, and I hate that.
And his contract's guaranteed, so you're going to have to pay it.
Exactly. The Jaguars are prepared to bench Gardner Minshew if he continues to struggle. That doesn't surprise me. Falcons have no plans to trade Julio Jones or Matt Ryan this season, so that can shut up. Let's see here. The Niners
like that means anything.
Right. The Niners have been linked to a couple of names. One of them was Julio Jones. One of them was Kerrigan, the defensive end in Washington, which I would think would be a great move. There's been, a couple of talks of Frank Gore as well as like a third down back for the Niners, which I wouldn't be upset about either. Just someone that can get those short yardage plays. So the trade deadline's a couple weeks away. That's going to be interesting. But what I want to talk about real quick here is actually, let's do this before we switch gears. We got to pay another bill here. Since we didn't do Albert last week, we're going to bump you to the third slot, and we're going to take care of Albert this week. Albert Chavez, United Wholesale Lending. He's back to work. He's back from his retreat. He is back on the phones and taking care of his customers. So if you're looking to buy a home, if you're looking to refinance a home, if you're looking to just see if in the next year you're going to be in a position to make those choices, contact Albert Chavez. He can run your numbers. He can look at everything. I'm going to sneeze.
Well, I'll take over while you're sneezing. So I've worked with Albert on a number of deals, a number of them with you actually, and your family. Yep. And Albert knows his stuff, and Albert knows how to get you what you need and get a product that will benefit your situation. And if somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm working with Albert Chavez on loans," I know I have confidence that the deal's going to close, and it's going to close quickly, and there's not going to be any headaches. And Albert knows how to work with a realtor, and like I said, I've worked with him a number of times. He does a great job. He gets stuff done quickly. There's no mistakes. There's no oops at towards the end of the deal where it's like, oh shit, now we have to panic and try to get something done. Things get done with Albert. And if you're thinking about buying, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, but if you're thinking about buying, the first thing you have to do is get pre-approved. And so there's not many people any better than getting pre-approved with Albert Chavez.
That's right. And like I said, he's done 4 deals for me. In my family, he's worked with my mother-in-law. He's worked with a whole bunch of other people. So that I've recommended and that you've recommended. So definitely the one that we trust here. And he's the one that you should trust as well. So Albert Chavez, 916-230-1537.
Absolutely.
All right. So the NFL needs to change. And what I mean by that is Pettis for Kerrigan. That'd be nice. The NFL needs to change their playoff system yesterday. It is a disgrace that the NFC East is currently sitting with a 2-4-1 first place team likely going to finish the year maybe at 7-9, could be 6-10, win that terrible division, and host a playoff game. It's going to be like that Seattle team that was 7-9 a number of years ago that upset the Saints because they had the home field advantage, only to get destroyed in their next game. I don't remember who it was, but is there any reasonable explanation as to why a far sub 500 team should be awarded the ability to host a playoff game? There's a good chance that there could be, because of the expanded playoffs this year, there's a chance that if the Niners turn their shit around, that the entire NFC West makes the playoffs. If Arizona comes in at 11-5 in second place behind Seattle, who's probably going to like damn near run the table, they could be 11-5 playing at a 6-10 Eagles team or whatever as a home game. How is that? I don't understand how the NFL still looks at that possibility and goes, we'll allow it. Like, they need to look at that as their barometer to get you in, and then your rankings, once the playoff pool is created, set up the home games. I don't think a 6-10 division winner or a 7-9 division winner should be awarded a hosted playoff game when their season was a step away from falling in the shitter.
Well, I mean, I think this is a one-off. I mean, this is
but it's not a one-off because it's happened multiple times before.
It's happened. Well, I could think of only one other time, and that's with Seattle a couple years ago. But over the last 100 years, how many times has it happened? Not enough to change the whole format. So I think it's an anomaly. I don't think it's something that's going to happen every year. I mean, this division has to get better. They're not going to be every year where it's going to be.
Let me change the scenario then. Let's say they go 11-5, and then they end up hosting a wild card team that was 12-4. There's still a lesser team hosting a better team record-wise in a playoff game.
Yeah, but it's tough to do that. It's tough to say that because an 11 let's put it this way. So an 11-5 NFC West team, is that better or worse than a 12-4, I don't know, NFC East team? Or
yes, because they're 12-4.
Yeah, but if your division's deeper, that means that the chance of you losing games is going to be higher. So you could somebody that goes out of the 6 games goes 4-2, as opposed to going 6-0. That doesn't necessarily mean they're better. It just means that their division is weaker. I just think that you can compare records, but they don't all play the same exact schedule. So you can't compare records to say how good a team is. You can do it for positioning, but you can't tell me that even a 10-6 NFC West team is going to be better than a 12-4 NFC East team, because who else did they play? Let's take the Patriots for years and years and years. Their AFC East division has sucked. So you can pencil them in for 6 wins right away. You take the AFC South, where those teams there's some good teams in there, or the AFC West, that those teams are all going to beat up on each other. So an AFC West team could definitely be better, as good as the Patriots are, because their division sucks. And there's one team and then 3 others. If you're deeper, the chances of you losing more division games and more games overall is much better than if you have 6 penciled in wins.
I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous that you're rewarding a a substandard team who can't pull their head out of their ass to dominate a division. Yet,
but you don't change the way everything is run because something happens twice or once every 10 or 12 years. You can't change the way everything goes.
So the under 500 thing has happened a few times, but the lower record, there's not another sport out there that the lower record is typically going to host a home game. The better team, based on records and rankings, get the home field advantage.
Doesn't the NBA, the division winners, host automatically?
No, it's based on record.
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure that they don't go, oh, the Lakers are number one overall seed because they won the Pacific, and then the Nuggets won the.
Well, yeah, no, it's definitely the seeding is by record, but I thought that the division winners, at least it has been in the past, where if you're the division winner, you get the home court advantage or the home field advantage.
I believe theirs is all based on record. It's all based on your record is better. Therefore you're the number one, you're the number 2 seed, the number 4 seed, whatever it is.
Well, look at look at Major League Baseball then. So this year in their expanded playoffs, the first 3 teams got to host the first round of the playoffs. And there was specific talk about San Diego, who could have had a better record than 2 of the other or 1 of the other division winners, and they still had to play on the road. So, or one of them, I don't remember what it was, but I know that there was some record situations that division winners got the top 3 spots, and San Diego, that's what it was. The division winners got the top 3 spots. San Diego was the best second place team, but they were seeded 4th no matter what.
So if you look at the NBA right now in the West, this last playoff system, you had the Lakers as the number 1 seed who won the Pacific Division. The Clippers were the number 2 seed who were also in the Pacific Division. Then you had the Nuggets, Rockets, Thunder, and Jazz. I got to remember how the divisions are split.
Yeah, and I
know for a fact that the Lakers
that changed a couple years ago when I think it was, I don't remember. I think it might have been the Spurs or somebody.
But on top of that, though, you're saying that you don't change the whole system, right? You don't look at the whole system as you don't look at the records as a whole because of a couple bad teams. Well, the NBA is looking at changing their entire system because of the fact that the East literally rolls out 8 shitball playoff teams or 6 shitball playoff teams minus Toronto and at the time Cleveland, because that's where LeBron was. And then all the other teams in the East that made the playoffs would have been out of the playoffs had they played in the West because of how bad their records were. Like we've compared this before in the past. The Kings being 39-win team that one year or 35-win team would have been 9th in the West, but 3rd in the East because of how bad the East was. So the NBA is looking at changing their system, which has been in place forever, to do a 16-seed playoff where it doesn't matter if you're East or West, you get ranked based on record. And I think that's going to completely change the atmosphere of the playoffs for the better. You still get get your, if the NFL makes adjustments, you still get your seating. Maybe they put in a provision that says, look, we're going to leave it the way it is, but if you fucking come in under 500, you're not hosting a fucking playoff game. Like maybe that's as far as it goes. Like to make sure that if one of the divisions limps into the playoffs, like the NFC East is clearly going to do this year, maybe they have a kicker there that says, okay, great. You won the division. Congrats. It goes on your wiki page. But the Niners who fixed their season around and finished at 10-6, but you're at 6-10 because the NFC East sucks fucking dick. You're going to Santa Clara to play this fucking game because you don't deserve to host a playoff game. Like, would you be okay with that? Because
yeah, probably.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you keep the seedings the same, so a team that's under 500 is going to be the 4th seed. The team, any team that's better is going to be probably the 5th seed. So you just switch that around. I mean, that I can live with that, but I just don't think you make wholesale changes over something that happens once every 10 or 12 years.
Well,
And
guess what?
I think the NBA
2020, it's going to happen again.
right. And I think the NBA is going to have to make changes, period, because look at ratings on the NBA were down significantly this year. So they have no choice to make other than make wholesale changes in what they're doing.
Well, they've already come out and clearly stated why their ratings were down so far this year, and we're not going to get into it. But
yeah,
the NBA came out and admitted the reason. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I just don't think you make that change just because it happens a couple of times.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no problem though with the just kicking everybody out. If you don't have a winning record, you're not having your home game. Sorry, it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that flip flopping 4 and 5, but then what happens if so Dallas wins or Philadelphia wins their division at I don't know what it would be 6.
Let's say
9-1.
9-1, yeah.
6-9-1. And let's say that all three of the teams that are in the playoffs are from the NFC West, and the 3rd place team is 10-6.
Okay.
So now do you slide Dallas all the way down, or do you just flip flop 4 and 5?
So here's the way I do it.
I think you're opening up a big can of worms there that you're going to have to reseed everybody, and now that doesn't benefit the team that wins their division. They need to get something for that.
Here's the way that I do it. If we come into the playoffs and you're supposed to host one of the wild card games, right? Because you're 6-9-1 and you're playing a 10-6 team. It's only one game difference, but you're still under 500. That first week that you're supposed to host because you couldn't get a 500 record, you're going to be the visitor of that game. Now, if you win and you move on to the second round, and let's say another wild card team had a better record than you, let's say another wild card team was 10-6-1 or 10-6, and they knocked off.
So it'd be the 1st seed. So let's say they knock off the 1st seed.
They knocked off Seattle, right? Because you're an incumbent division winner, the second round goes back to normal. If you won your first round game, I don't care that you're under 500 anymore, but you're not going to have that first round game be your home game. But if the seeding now, because you're a division winner and you're the 4th seed and the 7th seed beat the 2, and now you're playing the 7, congratulations, you earned your home game now. I wanted to prove that you could play a fucking good team. But I say you put that kicker just in the first round. If you're not good enough, you're not hosting a first-round playoff game while the better teams out there are getting a bye week or playing a better team than you, and you're not going to get off, earn it, is what I'm saying.
If you're going to do it, you do it. If you're going to do it, you do it. And, if they're playing a team with a worse record or a better record or a worse record, wait a minute, I just lost my train of thought here. So say that shitty team. So say Philadelphia knocks off whoever they're playing in the first round, and they aren't playing the 1st seed in the second round, and the team they're playing has a better record than they are, then Philly travels. So if you're going to do it, you do it the whole way. And
I'm fine with that. Yeah. I was just trying to play devil's advocate to say, hey, we'll still reward you. But the way I look at the NFC East right now is, and obviously Dallas kind of falls into it now because, obviously you don't anticipate Dak getting hurt. But Washington knew that they were going to be in trouble. They knew that they had Alex Smith on a leg and a half. They had Haskins, who I don't think is going to be their quarterback of the future. The Giants are a fucking shit show. The Eagles should have been better, but they knew they had holes all up and down their entire roster. I feel like all four of those teams went into the season knowing that they were going to be competing for what's his name out of Clemson. Like they knew that they were going to be competing for a high draft pick. They mailed it in. Right. And it just so happened that they didn't have a press conference to say, hey, this is the Washington football team. We're mailing it in this year. And the Giants were like, oh, hey, us too. And then the Cowboys were like, fuck these guys. We're going to win the division. All four of them made a conscious decision that they were going to fucking suck ass this year. And the memo didn't get to the other four. So all four of them showed up thinking, all right, we're just going to tank and we're going to lose this division and no one's going to know. The problem is all four of them had that same mindset and none of them came in prepared to win their division. And now their division winner is going to have 4 wins. Like, that's the way I feel it. Like, they all thought they were being sneaky and going to fuck over the NFL. And it turns out that all of them were in the same damn boat.
Right.
Like, it's a joke. It's bad, man. It's preposterous, to be completely honest. We have 15 minutes. Big showdown today in Vegas. Are they in Vegas? They are in Vegas, right?
I think so.
Or are they in Tampa? I don't know.
I'll tell you.
They're in Vegas. So big showdown in Vegas. The Raiders versus the Buccaneers. There was concern for a minute that this game wasn't even going to happen. The Raiders' fucking whole offensive line went on the COVID list. They moved the game from the Sunday night game to Sunday afternoon. And, Raider fans need to chill because Raider fans are like, oh, my God, they moved us out of primetime. They hate the Raiders and blah, 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 blah. But if you take like a step back and realize why they did it, and this was before the NFL came out and explained why they did it, but one of my Raider fans at work was like, oh, man, fuck the NFL. You see what they did to our team? And I was like, dude, chill. Do you know why? And he's like, because they hate us. And I was like, no, it's because half of your team is on COVID. And if they have to postpone the game, you have to realize that NBC is not going to be okay with you showing a best of NFL films fucking video. They need to have a game in that primetime slot that they're paying bajillions of dollars for advertising for.
Right.
It's not that they hate the Raiders. It's not that they don't want to see that game going on. It's they were protecting their ass because NBC would bring hellfire upon them if they didn't put a game on the TV. Like, chill the fuck out, Raider fan. The league is not out to get you. Okay, they helped you get this fucking beautiful spaceship stadium. You're your own market now. You're literally the cash cow. The NFL, if the NFL hated you, guess where you'd be? You'd be at the fucking Coliseum playing with shit-filled locker rooms.
Right.
Get off this whole rhetoric that the fucking NFL hates the Raiders. I'm over that shit. It's so stupid. But Raiders, Bucks should be a good one.
And I mean, I would rather, I think most people other than Raider fans and Buccaneer fans would probably like to see the Cardinals Seahawks play on prime time. It's a much better game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Real quick, Le'Veon Bell. He signed with Kansas City last week, right? Le'Veon Bell is secretly the most genius, vindictive asshole on the planet. I don't know if you saw the breakdown of this. So Le'Veon Bell and Adam Gase fucking hate each other, right? They had beef. He obviously has beef with the New York Jets. The rumor was that he would sign with Buffalo, Miami, or Kansas City. Well, he signed with Kansas City. And everyone's like, oh, what a bitch. Of course he's going to chase a ring, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the schedule, Le'Veon Bell has to go through a 14-day protocol of COVID before he can practice with his team. If he signed with Buffalo, they play the New York Jets this week. So he wouldn't have been able to play against the Jets and stick it up their ass because he would have been under protocol. Now, he might have been able to clear. He could have cleared.
He can play this. If he can play this week, yes.
He can play this week, but he wouldn't have been in practice. He wouldn't have learned the system. It would have just been here, go run. And that's not going to be beneficial for essentially what he wants to do, which is stick it to New York. So he wants to sign with Miami. Don't know why anyone want to sign with Miami, but they play the New York Jets. Last week they played. So he wouldn't have been able to play at all. It would have been the dead week. Next week, the Kansas City Chiefs play the New York Jets. He gets the ability now to be in Andy Reid's system for a week, learn the system, clear COVID protocol, basically establish himself as one of probably the backup back behind the rookie. And now he gets to go in and stick it to the New York Jets. It's all theory. Obviously, he's not saying it. But if that is the case, Le'Veon Bell is a fucking genius.
Of course it is.
He literally looked at it and went, okay, when can I play the Jets? No, can't play him this week. Probably not good to play him next week because I'm not going to know the system. 2 weeks from now, you got it, Chiefs. Let's go. Red Nation, let's up. I
like that.
I love it. It's hilarious. Raiders and Bucks. Who do you have winning this game this week?
Tampa Bay.
I have the Raiders with the upset this week at home. So we'll see how that goes. Niners are in New England. Now, there is still no fucking mention of if Hasty's even fucking suiting up this week. Because Kyle Shanahan is a fucking chess master who's really starting to piss me off with this shit. He was on KNBR this week, and they asked him about JaMycal Hasty, and they're like, "So what's your game plan?" Well, he's a great runner. The scheme, the scheme last week really helped. It worked with our game plan. We had a big lead. He ran the ball great. And they're like, okay, cool. So what about next week? Well, when you play against New England, they have a plan for everything. They scheme for everybody. They know what they're going to do. So I don't know. He may not even play. He may not get any carries. And then he goes further and goes, and I know Belichick. He goes, talk to Jimmy a little bit. He goes, I know how Belichick works. He has people listening to everything. He goes, so to the Belichick scout that's listening to this interview right now on the radio, he goes, JaMycal Hasty, great running back, strong kid. When it comes to route running, he's a 0. Can't run a route, can't catch a pass. He won't be. And then he came out and blatantly said, I promise you right now, if we're in a pass package, JaMycal Hasty is not involved in the game. He's not going to throw a pass. We're not even going to throw to him. And he keeps going. He goes, we may not even suit him up this week. And I'm like, as a fantasy football owner who picked up Hasty as a backup because I have no running backs this week, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Come on. Because games start in 8 minutes, and I need to know if fucking Hasty's going to play or not. But I was like, fuck, Shanahan, can you throw me a bone here, please? And Yahoo right now, if you look at the Yahoo fantasy, you know what he's projected this week?
0?
Yes. Fuck. I don't have another running back to play, so I'm putting all of my eggs in the JaMycal Hasty basket right now. It's bad. I got to get on like Twitter in the next like few minutes and find out like what the hell's going on.
I think this is going to be a Deebo Samuel game. I think that Samuel's going to go off today.
I hope so. Or Kittle. I mean, I would like Kittle or Ayuk to go off as well. But
I don't know. I mean, did you hear what Belichick said about Kittle? I mean, so they were. I think it was
wanted to like jerk him off. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I think it was Tom Tolbert said he got more than 3 or 4 words said about him by Belichick. So you have to know that he's impressed by him because he spent like 30 seconds praising this guy. So with that much praise, they're going to scheme like hell to stop him.
Right. So the Niners also lose both of our starting safeties this week. Tart and Ward are both out of the game, which is going to be fun. I'm God damn, I really need to know if Hazy's fucking playing this game or not. So what's your prediction for the Niners game this week?
Niners.
Yeah, I have the Niners winning this game as well.
You want to go through the whole list, or?
Yeah, we will. So Niners injury report for this game. Out is Ward, Mostert, Tart, Alexander. Questionable is Trent Williams and Jeff Wilson Jr.
I think Williams is going to play.
And I think Wilson. I don't think Wilson does, which puts Hasty in there as the backup, even if he doesn't start. And the thing is, Shanahan is very good at giving the hot hand the ball, and if Hasty can run, because New England doesn't have that great of a run defense, if Hasty could pop a couple yards, then we're good. So,
and I think it's different. I mean, the 49ers are different than a lot of other teams, where, especially at running back, with the way that Shanahan likes to play, is all those guys get reps in practice. On some teams, if you're the backup or you're the third stringer, you might get 1 out of every 10 plays to practice. In San Francisco, they're mixed up, and it's pretty even throughout. They all get first team reps. So, if Hasty does play, he's going to be ready to go.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. All right, let's do our picks. So real quick, the standings. Unfortunately, another player basically dropped out. Jeff forgot to make his picks last week, which pretty much puts him out of the running, which is no big deal. So they're the two bottom of our list here. I forgot to make my Thursday night pick. I made the pick. I texted James before the game, like right when the game started. He texted me, he was like, "Hey, you missed it." I texted him my pick. So if I can go in and change it, then I'll make it to what it matched with James. Josh Zimmerman is leading the poll right now. 63-27, has a 70% win percentage. Morgan is at 62-28, 69%. Myself is in third place at 61-29. I'm 2 games back at 68%. James is in fourth place at 60-30, tied with Bobby at 60-30 as well. 67% correct. TJ's in sixth place at 59-31.
Keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, I believe George is this next one, MVP 15, I think. I'm not sure who that is. 58-32. Mike is at 57-33. And then ninth place, not last, but ninth place, Greg Veroza at 56-34, 62% win percentage. And then we have a 10th placer at 55-35, and then a 11th place at 47-43. I think they missed a couple of games as well. So this week should be this one. This week I think we'll have a lot of opportunity for gains and losses, because there's a lot of iffy games in this list. So I had Philly, if I remember right, texting James. I'm pretty sure that I had Philly. Let me double check that real fast here.
I had Philly
because I don't want to lie about it. Yeah, I had. He says, "You didn't post your pick." I said, "Fuck, Eagles." So yeah, Eagles.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So Detroit goes to Atlanta.
I got the Falcons. I think the Falcons are starting to wake up.
Yeah,
I think the coaching change was good for them.
And I believe that last week I was the only person that took Atlanta to win that game. I said they were going to break their losing streak, and they did. Browns at Bengals.
I have the Browns.
So do I. I think Baker has a lot to prove, and I think he needs to prove it soon. This one is going to be the game of the week, and I cannot wait for this game. Steelers at Titans.
I think Big Ben is going to – he always plays well against the Titans. So I think –
So apparently there won't be a lot of parity this week. I also have what the fuck? Did it already lock?
It might have. Yeah, it's 2 minutes till.
That's stupid. The games haven't started yet. Anyways, if I can change that, I'm taking the Titans, by the way. If not, I'll lock it in with the Steelers. And I'll text you if it lets me change it like right away. Panthers, Saints, I have the Saints.
I have the Saints.
I have the Bills over the Jets.
Yep.
As does 98.7% of Yahoo. Cowboys at the football team.
I got the Cowboys.
I have the football team. Packers at Texans.
I have the Pack.
So do I. Hey, what's up, Thor? I have the Raiders over the Bucks. We talked about that already.
Yep. I got the Bucks.
I have the Chiefs over the Broncos.
Yep.
I have the Niners over the Pats.
Yep.
What about Jaguars Chargers?
I got the Chargers.
Same here. I think they're a great team. Justin Herbert's fucking amazing.
I think
He's
he's the next real deal quarterback.
I tried trading Lamar Jackson for Justin Herbert straight up to Travis because he's on his bench and he rejected the trade.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I may throw in like Adam Humphries or someone with Lamar Jackson and try to get him for next week. As I sit with 5 fucking quarterbacks on my roster right now, by the way. Seahawks Cardinals.
I'm riding the Cardinals. I have been behind the Cardinals all year.
And then Bears Rams.
Rams.
All right, so
we have like 2 different.
I gotta do my tiebreaker scores, but yeah, we have 2 different. It looks like, but yeah, it'll be fun.
And you and I were the only 2 that picked the Niners last week too.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, so I'm gonna try to get in there and change those picks if it'll let me. Anything else you wanted to cover this week?
Nope. I mean, I'm done with. I mean, just as a quick note, Kings fans suck. They're stupid. I'm done with all the dumb trade rumors. I'm about ready to leave all of the Kings groups because they're just horrible.
I can't say that I disagree with it. What the hell? Sorry. I can't say that I disagree with you on that, to be completely honest. It's getting it's bad.
I mean, it's the same 4 posts all the time. At least there's not as many Luka posts as there was, but it's still
there's no season going on. Once Luka starts dropping triple doubles and shit again, they're gonna be like, oh my god, fucking Luka! Woo! And that was a direct, representation of how that goes. Does it let me?
Eric Fisher was the 3rd first overall selection.
I wonder if it'll let me make a change for the picks. Anyways, anything else you want to?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well,
real quick, if you're looking to buy a house, thinking about selling a house, give me a call, 916-223-6688. That's my direct cell phone. Give me a call. We'll get you hooked up with Albert Chavez. We'll get you pre-approved. I will get you in a house. I've gotten this market is horrible. Not horrible. It's crazy. A lot of people making offers, but I've gotten the same family into contract 3 times in the last month because of issues that they've had with the houses they've gotten in. So I can get you into contract. We will get you into a place quickly with Albert. We can get you in 3 to 4 weeks, and you'll be happy. So, yeah, or sooner.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then we will go ahead and we will see you guys next week. That is episode 307 in the books. And we will see you guys next Sunday.
Night, Larry.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Bye-bye.